Hey guys, it's Trevor here with what was supposed to be a mixed tier match, but as you can see from the team lineup, I am at a severe disadvantage. He did apologize after the match for using what he calls like whorish Pokemon, but it was an interesting match nonetheless, so I decided to post it. So he's going to lead off with his Dragonite, which is very intimidating to start off with, and I'm going to lead with my Ambipom. And so I just do what every Ambipom does, fake out to break his Marvel Scale. And here, I didn't know whether he wanted to set up a Dragon Dance or whether he was going to predict my taunt and just take out my Ambipom. So I decided to go into Tangrowth. Maybe I can get a Sleep Powder on him, Leech Seed him, and force a switch somehow. My Tangrowth is pretty physically bulky, so I know I can take one shot of anything he does, which I take the Fire Punch, I guess, nicely. I mean, it is super effective, +1, but unfortunately, he has the Lumberry, which means Tangrowth is going to meet an early death, which kind of sucks because Tangrowth would have been a huge help for the rest of this match, but it does not die in vain because now I have a safe switch into my Scarf Medicham, and now that its multi-scale is gone from my Ambipom, a 4x super effective Ice Punch from my Max Attack Medicham will be able to KO that thing. The Dusclops, I was predicting the Will-O-Wisp, so I figured, Ledian, what better to take a Will-O-Wisp. And what I should have done here, I made a really bad move. Predicting the Protect, I should have gone for one of my screens first, but I was so scared because he saw the knockoff here, which would have really crippled his Dusclops if I knocked off the Eviolite. I thought he might have switched, or I really thought he was going to switch, so I started setting up my screens. And because of the burn and because of the Nightshade, I was only going to live one more hit, and I made a really bad play. Instead of knocking off his Eviolite, I go for my second screen, which actually played no part in the game whatsoever. And for some reason, I go to my Dunsparce, hoping stupidly that I could set up, even though I carry Will-O-Wisp. I was hoping maybe he would think it was weird or switch, not knowing what it's going to do, but no, he just goes for the safe Will-O-Wisp, which pretty much makes my Dunsparce useless. And now I'm pretty much like overwhelmed at this point. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. I switch into Gardevoir. He takes the Nightshade, and I just want to get some residual damage on this thing because it still has its Eviolite. So I just go for the Will-O-Wisp, and he's really taking me down with the Nightshade, so I think I switch here because at this point I'm just like, okay, this Dusclops is just wrecking my team. I'm not going to take another Nightshade. So I switch into my Ambipom just to, dodge the Nightshade. And here I can pretty much take whatever this Dusclops is going to do. And because I have the taunt and this Dusclops, the only attack move it really knows is Nightshade, it's not going to be able to touch my Infernape at all. So predicting the obvious switch, I hit the incoming Infernape with a U-turn, and that's going to let me get switch priority back into my Scarf Medicham. And hopefully, if this thing was sashed, it's broken now. So hopefully I can take this thing out with the Psycho Cut. But unfortunately, it does not kill the Infernape, and it's able to get a Flare Blitz off on my very fragile Medicham, which is going to easily take that thing out. But it's not all a loss because the recoil damage from the Flare Blitz will take out the Infernape, and that's going to be a double down. So I guess it's not all bad. And then he goes out to Cresselia, which, has to be the most annoying wall in the world. And because this is just a ragtag team of a bunch of RUs and UUs and Ledian. I don't know what that is. I'm guessing it's just off the map. I really don't have any physically attacking power, so I don't know what I'm going to do about this. Sorry, I'm getting a little behind. I go for the taunt just to see if this thing's going to try to status, and seeing the Thunder Wave, I don't want to stay in. So I U-turn out, hoping, or I just go into my Gardevoir, because I guess I was predicting either a special move or the Psychic, which I take really well. And knowing Cresselia has a pretty respectable amount of HP, here I'm just going to go for the Pain Split to get some damage. And luckily for me, he actually goes into his full HP Suicune, so I'm going to get a buttload of HP back from that Pain Split, which, I mean, I wouldn't really call that a prediction on my part. That was just really lucky. And here, I didn't know what he was going to do, so I just went for, I think, the Heal Bell? Yeah, the Heal Bell, so maybe, hopefully, Dunsparce will come in and save the day by setting up, because his Dusclops is gone. Well, it's not gone, but I'm certainly not going to keep it in on a Will-O-Wisp. But seeing as he's setting up, I switch into my Ambipom, hopefully to keep him from setting up any more calm mines. Obviously, I'm going to go for the fake out just to get some damage. And the taunt is pretty much obvious, but I can't risk him setting up any more. So he sees that coming, obviously, so he's just going to go for the Scald. I was sure this was going to take me out, but unfortunately for him, I live on 2 HP, which is really going to come back to bite him in the future. So I U-turn out just to get a little bit more damage on this thing. Knowing he's a special attacker, I can switch into my Gardevoir and take special hits from him for a good while. So he hits me with a Stab Scald to see if it'll do more damage, which it does. And I just go for the Will-O-Wisp to get some residual damage. And here I was thinking, okay, if he has Calm Mind, he's probably going to have Rest. And seeing that the taunt wore off now, predicting the rest, I'm going to go for the Pain Split. So it's like the same exact case over again. I'm going to be able to Pain Split a max HP Suicune, get almost all my HP back, and take a good chunk out of him, which is really good for me. So at this point, I'm like, okay, I have no idea what this thing's going to do. I think I stay in and go for the Will-O-Wisp again, just to get some more damage on this thing, as he keeps setting up, because I can't risk a switch into Ambipom to taunt, because he's just going to take it out, and I would really like to have it in the future. So he's just going to see how much damage he can do, and I'm just going to go for the Psychic, hopefully take him down just a little bit more. And this is kind of a losing battle. I know I'm going to die, but I know he doesn't want to go for the rest this turn, because he's probably, I think I did go for the Pain Split this turn just in case he did rest, but I knew he didn't want to, because it would end up like the same exact situation, and it would be a never-ending cycle of regaining and losing HP. So knowing that a Fake Out would probably take out the Suicune, he goes into his Dusclops just to take that nicely. And at this point, I'm like, okay, well, obviously the only move he has is Nightshade, and he still has the Eviolite, which, because of this, does not matter whatsoever, because I stay in, I go for the Taunt, which means he can't touch my Ambipom, but because the only move I have is a normal move, I can't touch him. So we're just going to waste away the turns, seeing if one person or the other would switch out. The taunt wears off again, I can just taunt again, I'm faster, no worries, and I'm literally going to burn his Dusclops to death, which I thought was hilarious. That's just the greatest way to kill it. So eventually that thing's going to go down, and my Ambipom took out a Pokemon with 2 HP left. And at this point, I was like, okay, I have a 2 HP Ambipom and a Dunsparce, and he has a Suicune and a Cresselia and something else that I don't remember. So I switch into my Dunsparce. Yes, he has a Latios left. Here I see the Moonlight, so at this point I was just like, oh, well, there's absolutely no way I'm going to take out this Cresselia. So I go for the Body Slam just to get the paralysis, and I know I'm going to be faster so I can set up a coil, but I really didn't think that would make much of a difference, and I was just going to get minuscule amounts of HP taken off this thing and hopefully completely flinch it to death. But I guess he wanted to cut the match a little bit short here, not suffer the flinching, because he just switches in and shows me his last Pokemon, which is a Latios, which is not good, because that's pretty much certain death for the rest of my team. So even though I think my Dunsparce is max special defense, max HP, I'm guessing that's a Specs Draco Meteor, which is going to be more than enough to one-hit KO my Dunsparce. It wasn't even full health, so that wasn't really a challenge. And right here, I'm just like, okay, all I have is this Ambipom, and I'm just prolonging my death right here. There's absolutely no way I can take out his Latios or his Cresselia. If he switched into Suicune, I could take that out and make it a 2-0. But unfortunately, this is just going to end in a crushing 3-0 defeat on my part. But good game to you. I just wanted to post that because I thought that was interesting. The ratio of power on the teams. I think I played that pretty well for having the Pokemon I did. Oh well, I like to be original. So check out our channel, comment, rate, subscribe. Thank you.